Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Broken Responder. My name is Richard Burns. I am your host and founder of the podcast. And this week, I have a special guest with me, Kyle Harshbarger. I actually had to sit down and tabulate it. I've known Kyle since 1992. When he was dating my favorite sixth grade teacher, and ended up going on several field trips with us to watch all the hellions that were in my grade school class.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
who
a
ended
lot.
up who ended up being some serious juvenile delinquents in our class, and Kyle was there tagging along as the I don't know, babysitter, basically the professional babysitter. That if we got out of hand, he could get us all wrapped up. But interesting story. As I grew up and ended up leaving the Marine Corps, moving back to my hometown in Kearney, I joined the Kearney Police Department, and Kyle was a sergeant with the police department. Actually, I think what is in 92, you had just started with the police department there, or 93.
95, actually. I was, yeah,
So you were
95.
still
Yeah,
in school somewhere in there trying to finish up.
yeah, yeah.
But this summer, I had taken a road trip to Tennessee, stopped back home in Kearney, and sat down with Kyle over lunch, and we kind of started sharing stories. And you have a pretty interesting story on like your career and everything that happened. And I'll let you have the floor, buddy.
Well, first of all, thank you. It's not so much having the floor. I think it's an opportunity.
It is.
It is. Because I understand what you're doing, Richard. Um, and not many people get it unless they're out of it, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah.
And
I think it's really hard to do it when you're on the inside because there's all the other stuff.
yeah. And yeah, you mentioned way back to like my now wife, who I just love to my core. Yeah, you were her student, and you
It was
had
our first year teaching.
you had a few other kids in that class that were ornery beyond belief. One of them, and I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. She actually said, "You're going to have to kill this guy one day," and I came like at gunpoint with him. And
We're talking like,
he was on top of a car, and he was like just breaking it with an axe. And um, the next axe throw was going to be a kill. And he just looked at me and he said, "Well, hello, Kyle." You know? Yeah, it was something about a Stephen King movie. And that was your class, by the way. And that guy, he's an absolute genius, but he ended up dying. I think like 2 years later, a year or two later after that, because he tried to stop a robbery in Lincoln, and he
oh,
was shot.
yeah, Sham. That's
Yeah, yeah,
Sham Journey. Actually, it was
yeah,
Omaha. I think it was Omaha. He was working at a smoker friendly, and somebody
yeah.
stole and
So you know
chased him
exactly what I'm
down.
talking about. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was your class. Yeah. And so I don't think that anybody gets the journey that we go on when we're going to do this. Um, Richard, I can remember you being at my house because you were at like I think a low point, and you were just like, "Holy shit, what do I do?" And I think you remember that. And
Yeah.
and then you went up to Chicago,
Yeah.
yeah, the Navy, all that. Um, I don't think anybody prepares you for law enforcement at all.
No. No.
No.
I don't think any of the courses that we actually uh teach, whether it be through the academy there in Grand Island, or even some of the classes. I mean, I teach officer survival, like how to recognize the signs and symptoms. And it I wasn't even prepared for my mental health breakdown.
No. And and trust me, I know. And when you called me a few, or I don't think you called me, you sent me a few texts here and there about your things that you had to deal with, and I knew exactly what those texts meant. But I think in law enforcement we don't have those people who recognize that when
Yeah.
somebody's just like, oh, I just did something horrible. And because that's not natural. That's not natural for a human being to do what we have to do.
I mean, it's one of those things that I don't think the regular public truly understands, like how much stuff we actually see, hear, and smell. I mean, there is just ungodly amounts of stuff that, like, you see the absolute worst in people every day in and day out, and we're just supposed to be miraculously okay with it and, like, not be affected by it. And I mean, like, you take the regular public and throw them into our job and be like, well, guess what? Like, this person just blew their brains out. It's an absolute mess in there. And, like, let's go clean it up. Like, the regular public, oh, even the smells, like, they don't understand that.
You're touching on a great thing, like the smell. And I tried explaining this to my wife the other day because we walked into a place and I was just like, oh, something's dead in here, right? Something's dead in here. And it smells like metal.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows that?
Right?
Who knows that other than somebody who's actually been in a room where they had experienced that blood and that atrocity? Who knows that?
They don't
Right?
understand that copper smell that's, like, in the
Yeah,
room. Like, it's like
exactly.
smelling a bunch of pennies.
Yes. And you can taste it, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes. And I can walk into that room and I knew exactly what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And I think that Richard, when you asked me to come on to do this, I couldn't even like wait to come on here because I know what you're doing and how important it is.
It's hard to try and get guys to open up. And I think part of my problem was, I mean, I grew up just like you grew up, like, guys don't show emotion. We don't, you just suck it up. You don't let anybody see you have emotions. And I mean, it's no fail of my father, because that's the way he was raised and that's the way that he raised us. And the only way that he knew how. But, like, I found out about emotional intelligence in my 40s, and, like, that absolutely rocked my world and, like, made the depression like even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. I think that law enforcement is getting better. I think the military is getting better. As far as recognizing what we do to people, we're a long ways off, though. We're
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. My wife watched a podcast the other day, and I kind of, it makes more sense to me. I mean, if you look at, like, PTSD is just like, one acute event that happens. And if you look at law enforcement, like, we're just battered daily. And I think it honestly fits that more of the operator syndrome that they've done research with the special forces guys. Because our daily assault on our everything mental trauma is daily. I think we have more of an operator syndrome compared to just like a one-off PTSD.
yeah, you're absolutely hitting it on the nail right there. So I'm going back. Gosh dang, I'm 55 years old. I'm going back to get my counseling degree because I don't want to see people go through what I went through. But you're absolutely right there. There's not one incident like a good cop, a good Marine, a good Army person. I don't. Yeah, we can go up there. We can perform in a second,
Yeah.
right? And it's
Oh
not
yeah.
that incident that bothers us. More about how do we deal with it, or
Hmm.
how is our group, how is our surrounding, how is our connections after that thing happened. And I think that that's where um, we lose a lot of officers, we lose a lot of military people, is because there's just not somebody there going, oh shit, that sucked, you know? Yeah.
And I
And
think,
especially at home, you don't get that, um, they want to love you, they want to hear everything about it, but they
yeah.
can't.
Well, and for me, it was even worse because, like, my wife at the time was a 911 dispatcher for our agency. So she knew everything I was going to because she was sending me to it. And then I mean, she's dealing with her own stuff. I mean, she's had people shoot themselves on the phone talking to her. And like the trauma that she went through and then like trying to navigate it, like dude, I was a horrible husband. Like for like fucking for a fucking decade. Like I was just a miserable piece of shit. And I mean, thank God my wife is amazing
Yeah.
because yeah, no, you're fine. I mean, it's completely honest though. Like it wasn't until like I went through my journey that I realized like holy shit, I am such a terrible husband. And like there's times I looked at my wife and I'm like, why the fuck are you even here with me still? Like I have just been miserable to you. And I mean for me that was one of those eye openers of like holy crap, like I've got to do something different.
So, why are you doing this broadcast?
So for me doing the broadcast was more of a like going through my healing journey. I realized I wasn't the only one that had to have felt that way. Um, there were a few guys that I knew of that had also been medically retired due to PTSD. And when I did that, uh, I realized that I wasn't the only one that like basically didn't have a support system. I didn't have, you know, the blue family that I expected that would be there to help me get through this depression. You know, I was ignored by command staff. Uh, you know, didn't hear from anybody. There was like a solid 4 set of guys that I had that checked in on me every day or every other day. Um, and without those guys and my wife, I don't know that we would be sitting here having this conversation today. And for me, I realized that I'm not the only one that's gone through this. I know there's others, and it's going to take one of us to open up and start talking about it to get others going on this and tell their stories and hopefully, uh, you know, get the mental health help that we truly deserve. Because when I did my mental health claim, it took 2.5 months before I could even get in to see a psychiatrist. Workman's comp wouldn't give me any medications to kind of help normalize me. And like raw dogging those emotions for months was just miserable.
Yeah, you just hit on something because I know our time is kind of like precious here. You hit on the biggest thing right there, and that's what I experienced too. Is when, of course, I did 30 years of law enforcement. I did 30 years, 23
Yeah.
years with the county police department. Um, and we all know that what I did and all that other shit. But whatever. When I quit, I couldn't just quit. And then what I felt was that complete detachment, what you're talking about. Complete.
Yeah.
Complete. I mean, it's not like any other job that's out there because they're all the same. But you wouldn't expect it from somebody who was um, just the day before was protecting your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, bam, gone. Bam.
Yeah.
Gone.
It's kind of like, I don't know if you would, I'd almost equate it to like some of those, you know, crazy religions. I mean, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. I'm not a big fan of religion, but it's almost like you're uh, not you're basically like disfellowshipped out of law enforcement. I mean, like
That's exactly it. Yes. Yeah.
you're not in it, and once
Yeah.
you're gone, like you are dead to them, like
Yes.
absolutely dead to them.
Yep. Yeah.
And I don't know. I wonder if it's almost in a sense like my wife and I were talking about a couple days ago. If it's not like a protection deal for those that are still in it because they're still being traumatized on a daily basis, and if you know someone you know like you know I would say a rock star at my agency. I busted my ass. I did everything. I earned
You're a rock
awards and
star. You are a
accolades.
rock star.
But I mean, for that though, I mean, I wonder if it's almost like they ignore you because they don't want to admit how bad they are themselves.
I think it's a survival thing too, because I was just teaching my class on grieving and giving death notifications, and I think there's a parallel there that we don't like to deal with. Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me, and so that's going to be me. That's going to be me, and so we don't deal with it on those means, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a survival thing, which I had to come to. I had to come to peace with this. It's not that those people don't like me or love me, because they do, a few. Some,
Right.
but at the same point, I get their survival instinct is they have to move on to the next day. Yeah.
And I don't know. I think the thing that was like frustrating for me is I understand they're going through the trauma, but the thing that ticked me off was it still feels like just that basic lack of human decency.
It is. Yeah. And that gets skewed. That
Yeah.
does. That gets very skewed. Um, and so I can even tell you about like you and in my journey, it took me a while. I mean, Jesus Christ, I was at my low as low as you get. And then I started just realizing the people who were very important in my life, and then the people that were like reaching out to me, at the
Yeah.
same time, and you being one of them, and that's important. But I think that for a lot of us who just haven't gone through that horrible "oh shit, I'd rather die than live" moment,
Yeah.
and then they get past that, and then they start looking like, oh, this person's a pretty good person. This person's a pretty good person. And they're reaching out to me. But the people who are reaching out to you are people who've gone through similar shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's been kind of funny talking to folks because everybody that I've known of for the longest time is like, if you commit suicide, you're a coward. And I mean,
No.
I mean, no, I mean, it's one of those that I did in another interview. People don't understand like how much it takes to actually be there at that point. Um, and like when I see someone that like we've had a couple officers here in Colorado that have committed suicide. Um, and when I see that, I'm like, damn, like what did they actually go through? Like what broke them to get them to that point to like just think that there was no way out. And I was there twice, and I truly believe there was divine intervention for me twice. Because if my wife wouldn't have come home early, or my best friend calling me telling me he had cancer, like I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah. I think that divine intervention is a great thing, and that's what changed me in my life. And you're saying a lot of things that probably only you and I could relate to. You know.
I think there's a few others. I think honestly, like people are just. I think some people are afraid to actually open up and tell like how bad they truly got.
Yeah, I got there. Yeah, yeah. I tasted still. Um, but I think that the biggest thing was uh, the lack of disconnection, which I mean it was like immediate upon even law enforcement. It's just like, damn, immediate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think honestly, like even in some of those instances, like I was angry going through my process, because you're dealing with all the emotions and everything else that's happening. I was angry after I retired. And then it was like this weird aha moment for me where I was like, why do I still have these folks on my social media? Like, why do I
Yep.
still have them in my phone? Like,
Yep.
they didn't reach out when I was going through anything. And the thing that I'm looking for the most in my life is if you don't bring peace or positive interactions in my life, Like
Yes.
you're fucking
Yep.
gone.
Yep.
And I deleted a bunch of folks out of my phone. I cleaned up all my social media. Like I deleted them. I was like, you didn't care about me when I was at my low. Like, why get me on the rebound when I'm trying to go back up?
But at the same point, there's those people in your life too. Like I would say, like me with
Yeah,
you, um, you don't know when they're going to rebound, and
right.
you don't know when they're going to connect.
Right.
Right?
And that's one of those things that, like, I think I started going through my stuff. I think like initially even texted you when I started going through my stuff. And I'm not talking shit, but like, I know you're not a big texter sometimes. And I was like, well, I texted him over a year ago. I haven't heard anything. Maybe I pissed him off or he's mad or something. I don't know. Eventually, like I'll get a random text or something. And then like, what was it? I think I got a text from you right before I was coming back to Nebraska. And it was kind of one of those deals that it just worked out perfectly to, sit down over lunch and talk and kind of discuss our stories and like what I'm trying to do with this. And, you going back to school for counseling. I mean, because you still an assistant professor for criminology?
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like you've gone kind of the full circle of, instead of, doing the action, like you're teaching the, students about kind of what it's like, but knowing you're not just giving them like the fluffy version, like you're giving them the real version of what it's really like.
And probably at some point too true. I'm just preparing them for what it's going to be like. And what I find myself more preparing them for is, gosh, I don't even know how to explain this, and I don't know if I can explain it. Like, if you're going to be a good cop, and you're a good cop at any level, right? You
Hmm.
will experience hell.
Oh
You
yeah.
will experience absolute hell. And that doesn't mean you have to kill somebody. That doesn't mean you have to shoot somebody. You will experience absolute hell. And that could be like a mom holding her child just screaming at you to bring him back,
Mm.
right? And you can't. And you
Yep.
can't. And I don't think I have to be careful in saying that college sucks. It does. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't prepare anybody for anything. It really
Oh
doesn't. Unless you're going to be like a teacher or a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer. I mean, there are professions out there that really need college,
yeah.
and I think that at some point that life life is more important, and experience life is more important than any degree that you can put on the wall. And so that's what I try to get through with my students is you have and some of them do. Some of them have lived horrible lives,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
and they're going to be great cops. They're going to be great probation officers or parole officers, whatever they're going to do. They're going to be great because they experience life. But there's a lot of them that have no idea.
So what I would always tell kids, when you get the ride-alongs or anything else, because being a cop is cool, I was like, your degree should be your backup plan. Like, if you want to be a cop, that's great, but like, get a fucking degree in English because you're going to be writing a lot of reports. Or get a degree in something else that has nothing to do with law enforcement, because if you get hurt and can't ever do this job again, like your degree should be your fallback backup.
Dude, I am 55 years old, or will be 55 years old, and that's a big reason why I'm getting my counseling degree. I wish I would have gotten it 10, 15, 20 years ago, because it's always been in the back of my mind. What's my fallback plan? And my life, but Lord, I mean, I have a complete different shoulder, you know, and they and
I
they
think we
told me,
both got our shoulders replaced at the same time.
and they said, "Hey, you're never going to be a cop again." But guess what? I was a cop for 6 years after that. But what would I have done if I didn't have that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got a sugar mama, though.
yeah. I'm pretty lucky.
So
I love Dina. So
yeah, and I tell everybody, and it's kind of funny, like when I talk about, like, because I still teach at our local community college for the officer survival. Like for me, the one thing that still to this day sticks out is we were learning something. Like she was teaching us about Albert Einstein, and I mean, and
I know exactly where you're going.
to explain like the misses for the viewers who don't understand this. The missus is like maybe 5 foot tall on a good day.
4'11".
4'11". So, and she is she's small, but like her voice is powerful.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was she came in dressed up as Albert
Yeah.
Einstein that day. And like the way that she like tried to do like his accent was just absolute, like to me, like just the dedication that she put into it, like I don't know, like that has stuck with me. And I don't know, I'm 44 now, so I mean that's stuck with me since what, my 92, 93 was, I think, the first year she started teaching.
Yeah, I don't want to get into like a relationship thing, but we can do that on a different day.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine, but I really, I just kind of,
As far as somebody that can marry and stay with a cop,
yeah,
I,
right,
I,
I mean,
I couldn't have asked for better.
right,
Ever,
and I guess
ever.
that's kind of how did, I mean, so getting into your stuff, like I mean, we just put it bluntly, like what broke you in your career, like to get out of it, or what happened to take you down your path?
Now, if you want to go there, um, I didn't drink for um, 40 years of my life.
And I never would have guessed you as a fucking drinker.
Yeah. And when I quit law enforcement officially, I just went right into the booze.
Just
I went,
hardcore.
yeah. There was no in between. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it right.
Right, go full bore in.
What's up?
Go full bore in.
Yeah. And it was probably after 2 years of that I actually, Dina knew I was drinking. Dina did.
Mm-hmm.
My family did. I think everybody did. But I picked up the phone one day and I just called 13 chapters in California. I have no idea what they were. I mean, I went online. I'm like, yep, I got to stop drinking. And this place in California picked up the phone. And that was not a process, by the way. So the reason why I'm going back to counseling is because I was at my lowest point, and I was calling people around here. I was calling counselors around here. Kearney to North Platte to Lincoln. Oh, we can get you in 3 days. We can get you in 3 weeks. Fuck you. I'm about ready to kill myself.
Yeah.
And so, it was a godsend, like 13 chapters. So like, yeah, let's get you out of here. And I was on a flight that day.
Yeah. It
But I was gonna kill myself.
I'm sorry, man.
And if they didn't respond, that was a difference.
I think one of the hardest things for us to find is, especially at least in Nebraska, is therapists that specialize in the trauma that we go through.
Yeah, they don't.
And I mean, yeah, I understand like the whole point of, 5 EAP sessions, but man, you might be lucky in 5 EAP sessions if you can even trust that counselor to open up. But
no.
then when you open up and
I just wanted somebody to like fucking talk to me. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find that. Now I will throw a shout out to him right now, Ryan Smith here in Kearney. It's not the Ryan Smith we know. But Ryan Smith here in Kearney, he gets it. And but I think that's what's lacking with law enforcement, and that's why I'm going back to get my counseling degree. I think it's stupid. I have to have a fucking degree. I do,
Right.
just to be that person. Oh, you know, you're at your lowest point. You're going to eat your fucking gun. Can you call me?
Yeah.
But I think that it, and I'm not going to charge people. I'm not going to, it's not about money for me. I got fucking money.
Right.
It's not about that at all. Um,
I I think one of the worst things though is when you sit down and you like actually start talking to a therapist about what we see or what we've been a part of, and like you watch their eyes just like you can see the oh shit look on their face, and you're
yeah.
like, you're not the one I should be talking to.
So Ryan, he's really, really good. And he's always trying to bring shit out of me. And I just recently, like 3 weeks ago, just opened up about how my childhood friend shot himself in front of me while I was a cop. And yeah, his eyes just went.
Yeah.
He
You like,
wasn't expecting that.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you watch some of those guys and you're like, oh fuck, like, who do I turn to and talk to now?
So there's that, which is why I go back to what you're doing, and it's so important and precious, actually, what
Yeah.
you're doing. And that's why I'm talking to you, because um, I hope that you can reach out to people. I don't know where this is going to take you. I have no idea.
Me either right now. I'm just trying to. I think one of the hardest things though is, uh, trying to get it out there. I mean, I've put it on, like Blue Lives Matter Colorado, some dispatcher pages. Matter of fact, I even talked to Dave Humphrey yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, we just had like our conference in Nebraska." He's like, they had a speaker about mental health. He's like, listening to your story. He's like, man, he's like, if they would have like invited you, would you have talked about your story? And I was like, absolutely. Like,
Yeah,
I would have driven the 7 hours to Kearney
yeah,
just to go talk to him for a couple hours. I mean, I
absolutely.
got to be a
Yeah,
little careful when I run into Nebraska because I like I like the devil's lettuce a little bit, and the state troopers are kind of assholes at times.
Nebraska troopers are a deal. You know who's the worst? Okay, tell me who's the worst troopers in the world.
Oh, without a doubt, freaking Nebraska State Patrol.
No, no, they're not. Tell me
No.
who's the worst that you would want to deal with.
Honestly, like I love our state troopers here in Colorado.
Oh,
Uh,
you got great. Okay, Nebraska has great troopers. I'm just going to tell you, Wisconsin.
I've
They're
never dealt with.
oh my God, they're horrible,
I
horrible.
got I got pulled over for passing a trooper doing 2 miles an hour over the speed limit on 80 between like Grand Island and
Yeah, I mean,
York.
Nebraska has their issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they have their issues. But as a core, they're pretty good. They're
No, I
pretty.
mean those guys are highly trained. They're efficient. I mean, like
Yeah.
when it comes to dude, like professionalism, like yes, Nebraska State Patrol is
Oh,
amazing.
I have no issues with any state troopers at all. They're all highly professional.
No,
But
they are.
at some point, you just gotta be a person.
Yeah, and I think honestly, sometimes like they're wound a little tight there. I mean, like when we were going through the academy in Grand Island, and you see like the state troopers come in and
Yeah,
they're
I
in
know.
formation with their 8 point covers. I was like, bro, you need to chill out a little
This is
bit.
coming from a person that was a Marine.
Yeah, like 6 months of that though in Grand Island.
I know. I know.
But so getting back to this, like, I don't know, did you have, was it one set event for you that kind of like took you down your path, or was it a cumulative over your career?
I'm still trying to figure that out. What I do know is that the biggest part of it is, um, I mean, shit. I went to LA to help myself. I can speak probably at this better than most people. Um, and I can tell you it was the disconnection, the immediate disconnection. And I'm just going to call them out. I have Kevin Thompson and Derek Luke, who still like I can talk to. But you have to figure, that's out of what, 60 people.
I honestly, like, the only people I know left with Carney are all the old guys that I started with in
And
'03
when
that are still
I
there.
think I could talk to him, I mean, like if I'm sitting here, like, doing
Right.
this, that's going to be, those are going to be the two people I call. And I'm not there, by the way. Don't call 911.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
But that's what I'm saying is I think that you immediately lose that. Immediately
Yeah.
lose that. And it is a grieving process. I mean, it's like you almost died.
Yeah. I think if you've ever seen that Sean Ryan podcast, there was one of the Delta operators that like said it perfectly. Like the day that you are gone, you experience loss.
Yep.
And that loss is like you've basically lost friends.
Yep.
You've lost people that you considered like family. Uh, and you're just on the outs. You are on that outside of that circle now.
Yep.
And I don't feel
that's the best way to describe it, because I know you were. I was a high motivating officer, SWAT team and all that shit. I know you were too. And I think it's especially hard for people like you and I who are like high motivated, like AAA personalities. And then all of a sudden, boom, where is everybody?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't put that on your family.
Yeah.
That's what I tried to do. You talked about Dina, and she's the most precious person in the world. But we almost went through a divorce because I was trying to put that shit on her. And she didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that at all.
I think we do the worst things to our family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think honestly, like you look at it, and not to get into the psychology of it, but I mean, there's that deal that cops' kids are always like the shittiest kids out there. And I mean, and you've got great boys, but I mean, there's a few of the other cops' kids that we dealt with all the time. And I think part of it is because we put so much effort into being cops that like we forget about our families.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
I mean, you want to be the
And
best
then,
cop.
and then there's that expectation when you quit being a cop that they're going to be there. Well, were you there? Were you there for the last 30 years, 20 years, whatever it is? Probably not.
Yeah.
And that's the journey I had to go through. Is I wanted to blame her. I wanted to blame everybody for this feeling of loneliness. At the end of the day, that's on me.
Yeah.
That's on me.
Yeah.
And you know what? If God bless that you can walk through this world and have a few friends, a few people that you can talk to.
I think one of the hardest
that's all
things
a cop needs. At the end of the day, that's all a cop needs. That's all a Marine needs. That's all somebody who's actually seen and done shit needs. It's just like a few people, and probably just like once or twice a year. Hey, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of those things like I've gotten better on. Like, I mean, since I've been gone, we've had 4 officers shot here in Pueblo. We've had a couple other officer involved shootings, and like those guys that have been involved in incidents, like I at least try to text them right away and just say, hey, I'm thinking of them and hope they're okay, because I know what it's like to be on that other side, basically, when you're in that situation and like you just feel like thrown away and abandoned.
Yeah. Yes. And that simple text, I've done that to so many people. That simple text, how are you doing? That's it.
Yep.
And these are people who who I haven't worked with for 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years, you know, and I just text him, and I know that you just went through something horrible, and all I just say is, "How you doing?"
Yep. I think honestly, sometimes you just need to do that open-ended text to let the door be open.
Yep.
And sometimes it takes a little bit and sometimes it's fast, but I always tell, yeah, just to let them know that they're being thought of, I think is very important. And I think one of the things that people don't understand is, like, I didn't have the, like, I wanted to be able to text anybody, but you don't have the energy for it. Like, it's so weird to explain. Like, you want everybody to reach out and make sure that you're okay, but you don't have like the strength or determination or whatever it is, but like, you're just wanting someone to check on you, but you don't want to be the one to initiate it because you feel like
That's because you're a protector.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it like,
At the end of the day, that's exactly what it means. You're a protector,
yeah,
and um, that has nothing wrong with you at all. Uh, you as a protector personality, you don't want people to worry about you.
yeah. And I think that's one of the things that we always miss, because when we have those folks that take their own lives, like, everybody's just like sitting there perplexed, like, oh my God, like, what happened? How did that go?
Yeah,
And it's like,
right?
you didn't fucking talk to them. Like, you didn't check on them. You didn't do anything. Like, you just left them there in their own thoughts. And that's the worst fucking place to be.
Yeah, and especially like military and cops, because I see this all the time. Um, they're not going to reach out to you.
Nope.
No, no,
Yeah.
they're going to reach out to you and say, "How are you doing?" They're going to say, "How are you doing?" At the same point, they are struggling. They are a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And when you get that message, "How are you doing?" That's a message of, "I need help."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And I think, like, we're terrible at recognizing it in each other, though. Like, we can, like, see somebody on
Unless
the
like
street.
you or I who have gone through it and actually, I mean, seriously, and I mean that. I mean, and I don't want anybody to go through what you and I have gone through. I don't want that.
Me either. And I think
And,
that was one of the
and I
things.
want that. I want that to when somebody like texts you and says, "How are you doing?" I want your text to be back is, "What's up with you?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm 55 years old. I don't give a shit.
Right.
And that means something. But at the same point, I recognize things. And so I think that I recognize what you're doing. And I that's why I'm talking to you today. And
Yeah.
I hope that whatever you're doing, it just like catapults and it becomes something great.
My whole goal for this, I mean, I'm not in it for money either. I just want to make sure that the ones that are still in it and the future generations of first responders, like, have the mental health, like, readily available for them. I mean, to the point where, we have first responder friendly therapists that kind of get or understand what we go through. And, like, you look at maybe in Nebraska, take, for example, the Tri-Cities, have I don't know, 5, 10, whatever therapists that are always on call for, Kearney Police Department, Buffalo County Sheriff's Office, Hall County, Grand Island, that if there's an event, we don't have to wait for a critical debrief, or, or if they go on a call and it's really messing with them because it was something with kids and they're thinking about their own kids now, and the fragility of their kids, that they can, hey, put me out at the station. I need to go talk to somebody. and have that readily available, instead of, hey, it's going to take you 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months before you can get into a therapist. And by then we're no longer trying to help that person, we're planning their funeral. And to me, it's just unacceptable. And that's my whole goal, is to, I would,
You just absolutely described, my whole calling as far as getting this stupid license, be called a counselor. Go fuck yourself. I don't need a license for that. But yeah, you're spot on. And I don't know how we go forward from here as far as being. I know that there's 911 suicides. I know that there's all that bullshit. But what is there for law enforcement? What is there for military? You know,
yeah,
I know that there's out there, and I've shared my experience, and I have to go here in a little bit. I've shared my experience when I was at my lowest of low. I was calling everybody. I was calling fucking everybody,
yeah,
and no one. Oh, I can get you in 3 weeks. I can get you in a month.
yeah. I
Go
think
fuck
that's,
yourself. Go fuck yourself. You know
yeah,
what? I'm eating a gun right now. Go fuck yourself.
yeah. And for me, I don't know if we have to do it on a, I mean, I'm probably not going to get it passed in Colorado on a state level, because they're not very law enforcement friendly. But I don't know if we could, try to do it in other states, get some type of, I mean, everybody complains about the shit that cops do wrong, but I don't think we don't look at what causes those cops to do those stupid things. And it's because of all the trauma that we go through. I mean, you look at day in and day out, how many times is your moral compass attacked? Because, well, it's not right that people should steal money. But after dealing with it for so long, you're like, well, maybe who's going to miss $100, and then $100 turns into more. And then next thing you know, a cop's getting charged for doing stupid stuff. But I think it's just the daily assault on our senses that changes our mental health, and our moral compass that is there when we originally start. And as you get farther in your career, it gets skewed. And I think if we have those therapists readily available, that we might not see as much as that as we do now.
I think that you're absolutely spot on. That's why I'm talking to you. You're absolutely 100% spot on. Um, but what I would like, if you can think about this going forward, is because I know another person in Colorado. And he's amazing. He responded to all the horrible things in Colorado um, in the '90s, and so I talked to him sometimes, and he was just down here for our conference. But anyway, if you can start like a movement, like just say for example, if I text you, how are you doing? I'm not asking how you're doing.
Right.
I'm asking for a response.
Yeah.
I'm not doing good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the
And so
that people,
if you can like relay that to whatever you're doing, I think that'd be good.
and I think that's one of the things that, like, people don't realize, the I don't know, like the reaching out and stuff like that. I mean, we have the obvious stuff of someone like, well, I think I'm taking my life, but they don't understand the how are you doing text, wanting a response, and I
Yeah.
think sometimes it's that we're craving that interaction, and you just send kind of like that open-ended text, and folks don't understand the importance of that text.
Yeah. There's something definitely but behind that.
Yeah.
There's huge amounts behind that.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you and I, for example, we haven't talked for dang years, right?
Yeah.
And so when you reached out to me, I'm like, okay, there's something here. But
Yeah.
I recognize that. And how did I recognize that is I went through hell myself.
Yeah.
And so you just asking me how you're doing, I knew that you weren't just asking me how I'm because you don't give a shit. You no, I mean seriously. But you know what? You felt comfortable enough to reach out, and I recognize that.
I think for
Um,
me, reaching out to you has been, and not to, I don't know, not to make you feel weird or inflate your bubble, but during all the like the crazy shit that I had there at Kearney PD, there in the end with everything with me, I mean, you had some of those people that, they look down on you or they treat you differently.
judgment. Yeah.
Yeah, they judge you, and we honestly judge each other. We're terrible at it, but I didn't feel like judged with you. I felt, I don't know, like someone kind of talking to a mentor, basically, I guess is the way that I would say it.
I'm not patting myself on the back. I've never been a judging person.
Right.
And why I haven't been a judging person is because I've always recognized I'm horrible myself. I'm horrible in more ways than anybody could ever imagine. No, I've never been that judging person. I've always been a teaching and coaching person. That's how I always viewed myself. And you mentioned my wife. God bless her. I would not be alive if it wasn't for Dina, and her stories. But when you mentioned her, and I think that that's why her and I are together this day, because we're both teachers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
I,
and we don't judge. We don't judge.
right.
Uh,
So, I mean, did she kind of give you an ultimatum though when you were going through your stuff, or
no,
like, did she just kind of like,
no. I wish she would have. She
yeah?
did not.
So
She
she
did
tried to
not.
be supportive and understand, and
No, absolutely none of the above.
no,
And I wish that she would have. She knew exactly what I was doing. She knew my drinking. She knew everything. But I wasn't a dangerous drinker. I was like, I'm coming home and I'm gonna drink. Right? And I didn't go out. I didn't fuck around. I didn't do any of those things. I was drinking for a fucking reason, just to like,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so when I say I wasn't a dangerous drinker, I wasn't like, a bar person or something like that. I was a dangerous drinker because I would drink to the point that I would want to fucking forget
Yeah.
and, and pass out. I mean, that was my goal. And
Are we talking like a fifth a day? Like how heavy were you at your worst? Holy shit, Kyle. Got some fucking tolerance there, bud.
yeah, I
Jesus.
did, I did, and that's when I knew. The thing is, I knew that I needed help,
Yeah,
and not very many people recognize that. Um, I could have gone on and kept drinking like that. I'd be dead today.
probably.
Yeah, I would be dead today if I didn't stop. But the emotion behind it was I just wanted to disconnect
Yeah.
from everything and from life. And and the biggest thing that I felt was I lost my family.
Yeah.
And I'd say that my law enforcement family. And
Mm-hmm.
we've been talking about this. I mean, it was abrupt and immediate. Yep. And so that was it. And then, where I'm at today is I don't give a fuck about them. I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck. I don't give one fucking shit.
Right.
And I shouldn't be that mean or say it like that, but I don't. Um,
I, I think what people don't understand though is you get to that point where like you just make peace with it. Like if they
yeah,
don't add quality to your life, like
no,
it's totally acceptable just to kind of like divorce them. And because if you go back to that, it like opens all of that back up,
yeah,
and
yep.
it's not worth it to deal with it at all.
No, dude, that's a great explanation of it. That's perfect, spot on. Yeah,
And I don't know, for me it was one of those that like I've hit that age where like if you don't bring peace, quality, or like value to my life, like I just don't need you in it.
this sounds dumb to say. I think California for me was the best thing ever. Because when I was out there, first of all, I was away from everybody and everything here,
Yeah.
which was important. And then I saw like very, very, very real people in this world. Like we would think, oh shit, like movie stars and millionaires. But they would be at the same AA meeting I am,
Yeah.
right? And there was no judgment at
Yeah.
all. And so when I was out there and I was dealing with that, I think that judgment thing was the biggest thing because I didn't feel judged there.
Yeah. So how many days are you sober so far now?
2 years almost.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. Actually, October 5th.
Nice.
I have my little key ring. Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
So for me, one of the things that I realized was like I wasn't there enough for my boys or didn't put enough. I don't know. I thought I was probably harsh on them at times. And I mean, I literally sat down. Our youngest at the time was 20. We're sitting on his patio in Florida and smoking cigars. And I like straight up told him, I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, if I was ever like a dick to you or you didn't understand and like, I don't know the best way to put it, but if I did shit that hurt your feelings, like, I'm sorry. Like, I was just trying to survive the best way that I knew how. And like, I don't know. I think it's kind of made our relationship a little bit better, but did you struggle with stuff like that with like your boys also?
No, because, and I feel fortunate that way because I didn't start drinking until they're out of the house.
Okay.
So they were never around me drinking. And they didn't see that.
Okay.
And
Good.
so it was quite a shock to them when
To
their
find
dad
out.
quit. Yeah.
Did they, so other than kind of that initial deal, I mean, you obviously feel supported now, but did you like struggle with that initially or feel like you weren't supported, or was it like, I guess when you, I don't know, did you feel like there was, well, I guess it would have been more from the missus, but she kind of didn't really push you much to get, did she push you to get help, or like
No,
how did you just finally like you hit
no,
that like that rock bottom and you were like,
no.
I have to do something?
Yeah, she's the most caring, loving person I could ever be in my life, and she never did push me ever, and I wish she would have. We talk about this now, 2 years later, and I wish that she would have said stop, but I think because of her personality and her caring, she was scared of
Kind of
whatever it was.
losing you or however it was.
Yeah, yeah,
And one of the things that I realized too was like I basically have to, like, for so many years going through my stuff, uh like I realized like we were totally living separate lives basically.
yeah, yeah,
And like, I mean, here it is now, we're going through it and getting over it, or still working out of it, but like I am literally having to like relearn my wife because for 5 to 10 years we didn't meet eye to eye on a bunch of things.
yeah.
And I think that was one of the hardest things to realize was like I fucked some shit up like terribly.
Yeah. We fucked some shit up.
So for me, like,
we're very good at that.
yeah, oh yeah, I'm good at it. Dude, like the bridges I burn will light my path. And I
But
think,
you know what? The world needs warriors. That's what I
right,
always.
and I think one of the
And
funny,
with that warrior comes a certain part of problems.
yeah, for me, I think it was kind of funny because like my wife will just let me burn shit to the ground. And
Mhm.
then she comes in and she's like, do you feel better? Like, now that you've done that? And I'm like, well, kind of. And then she's like, okay, well, now we have to rebuild all this shit you just burnt down.
Yeah.
So, Like, it's kind of funny because she
Oh,
just
that's awesome.
sometimes she just lets me do like my stupidity, and then she's like, if you feel better now, like now we have to fix this.
Yeah, you found Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Those are rare, and you know what? It took me. Oh my God, I gave up my whole life for Dina. I did,
yeah,
and it took me 27 years to realize that that was the best decision I ever made.
yeah,
Because not and whatever you go on to talk about, you know, at the end of the day, warriors need that person in the back of their life that goes, "You're fucked up,"
yes. Oh my God.
you
Oh,
know. And
yes.
and we can't do our job. We can't participate in life unless we have that person
Yeah,
who who understands that.
yeah.
And
And I think,
I would say that Dina understood it because her dad was in Vietnam, a tunnel rat, and
oh yeah,
yeah. So she understood it from a different perspective. I think. I think.
yeah.
Um,
I
so
would say she would, because like listening to my dad's Vietnam stories, like it's freaking crazy.
her dad never said a story ever.
No,
No,
never told any stories about Vietnam.
no, no. The only one
Wow.
that he ever said was to me, and so this is how you know it's true. And he was talking about going through a tunnel, and then he came upon what he calls a hospital, and then that's where the story stops.
Yep. You know what happened.
And I'm like, well, you're here,
Yes.
so
Yes.
I can only guess what happened after that. But no,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that he's ever talked about. Two
Wow.
tours. Think about that.
Yeah.
But
So,
I think that um, from that, I think that Dina has some understanding of what our culture is and what our horribleness is.
and I think honestly, some of it, like even when I started to go through it, still working, I think one of the other fears that we have is, man, if I tell my crew like what I'm honestly going through, like, are they gonna think that like I'm still there, that I'm gonna have their back if we get into something crazy? Like, I think there's also that worry that like your crew and your coworkers are gonna look down on you.
Yeah, so I already shared a story with you. My childhood friend, I was outside the trailer when he shot himself, and then um, we had to turn that into a SWAT thing. So then I had to be a SWAT commander, and so when we went in, um, he did shoot himself with a slug. He shot himself, and I mean it was
Oof.
like somebody taking a hot iron to your head, just like splitting it in half. And I told everybody on the SWAT team, I'm like, this is my friend. And nothing, nothing.
Yeah.
No one said, well, stand down. No one said, oh, you might not want to be part of this.
Yeah. Like you
And,
still suit up and you go and nobody thinks twice about it. And I think we fail each other though sometimes at that. Well, I mean, we fail each other a lot in
yeah,
recognizing some of those things.
yeah,
I mean,
yes,
for so I guess to give an example, I mean, I had my two officer involved shootings. I've had, been in several other, secondary to other officer involved shootings and critical events. But for me, like the worst thing to this day that still sticks with me is guarding the body of like this 8-year-old girl who died at home. And
yeah, yeah,
she's under the sheet. She looks like she's bruised and beaten. Like it looks like mom and dad just beat the living crap out of this girl. And all I can sit and do in the room is cry and apologize that we couldn't do anything to save this poor kid. And thankfully, we ended up finding out that like this girl had this rare disease, genetic disorder that like her body was eating itself internally out. And mom and dad were taking her to, the children's hospital all the time. But for me, like, just like the sight of them draping the sheet over that poor little kid, like to this day, like haunts the living shit out of me.
Yeah. And see, I don't think that people think much about that. I can remember for whatever reason every hanging that I went to, and there's 23 of them. And I can remember every childhood death that I went to,
Yeah.
and there's over 100.
Yeah.
So people don't think about, like, you're just supposed to go in and do your job and move on. That doesn't happen.
No.
No.
I mean, in the other stuff that people don't understand is, some of the stuff that we have to watch and do to get convictions. I mean, like, think about like a poor special victims detective who's had to watch hours of child porn so they can write an arrest warrant on a pervert. And like, we don't, like, hey man, how are you? Like, seriously, you just had to watch the most disgusting shit ever. But we don't, like...
You're spot on. Dan Warrington, I don't know if you're going to publish this or not. Dan Warrington, God bless him, one of the best people in the world. I'm going to say that from the very start. I don't know how he does his job. So I was his supervisor for 6 years, and Dan Warrington looks at the most horrible, horrible shit you could ever imagine on a computer, right? And my concern every day going into work, one of several, but one of them was, how's Dan Warrington doing today?
Yeah.
Because Dan Warrington is looking at the worst of fucking humanity.
Yeah.
The worst. Right? And he would call me in sometimes. He's like, you need to see this. And Richard, I could be there for like 2 seconds. I'd be like, that's all I fucking need to see. I'm done.
Yep.
I'm done.
And he has to watch hours of it.
Yes. Yeah. So God bless those people.
I don't think the average everyday citizen like truly understands. We had one that still kind of sticks with me because of the smell thing. I don't know if you talked about going in and something's dead.
Yeah, you can smell it.
Oh my God. I had a gal who shot herself in the head and basically baked inside of her car for a week in the high desert climate that we are, of like 100 degrees straight. And by the time like I got to her face, I don't know, you remember like Watchmen, like Rorschach's mask, how it like moves? It was literally the maggots on her face, like swirling, and she had turned into a puddle of like flesh and mush, and it was draining out of her car down through the passenger floorboard and on like down the road. I was literally jamming fingerfuls of like Vicks up my nose, and I couldn't make it for more than like 10 seconds by the car.
I know.
Oh. But I mean, those are the things that the everyday public is like, that's no big deal. But I also think, kind of like Grossman said, like, we've become so indifferent to violence because it's everywhere now.
Yeah.
And like, if it's not violent, people are like, that's no big deal. But they don't understand like how much it just takes the humanity away from us.
Well, I'll give you an example. So this kid shot himself in the head. So me and another officer here in the house. The mom's upstairs. She's not sure where the other brother's at, but she knows exactly what happened, right? And so we're going downstairs, and I can immediately taste it and smell it and everything. And so I look at the other officer, and I'm giving the signal. I'm like, this is recent. And I keep on pushing to my mouth, and he had no idea what the fuck I was trying to say. I'm like, taste it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're never going to get that taste out of your mouth or out of your brain ever.
There are some Yeah, if I smell something, like it will automatically, like I will be like, "Oh my God, I remember when I smelt something like that," and then
Yeah,
it takes you back to that.
yeah,
Oh, ugh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, dude,
So
I got to get going actually.
okay,
So, what are you
well,
gonna do with this? What are you gonna do with all this?
so what I do is, I'll end up stopping the recording here. Actually, let me just do it now.